Hi everyone, welcome to Training for Climbing. Today we're going to be talking about training our antagonistic climbing muscles. So it has been said that the best training for climbing is climbing. Sadly, we are not able to be in the gym right now. A lot of us can't get out on the rock either. So the next best training for climbing we can do is to strengthen our climbing specific muscles. Those muscles are like our fingers, our forearms, our biceps, our shoulders, our lats, etc. So it stands to reason that if we spend all of our time training our climbing muscles, and they're super strong, then we're going to be strong climbers. However, if we only train our large climbing muscles, we may find that our climbing performance plateaus, and we find ourselves at an increased risk for injury from bodily imbalances. So if we train with intention to strengthen our antagonistic climbing muscles, even if they're not in direct use while we rock climb, we can bring more stability and smoothness to our motion, causing us to climb more efficiently and ward off getting pumped. So what is an antagonistic muscle and how do we train it? An antagonistic muscle is a muscle that opposes another muscle in action. For example, our tricep is our antagonistic muscle to our bicep. So if we look at a bicep curl like that, what's happening with our tricep is that as the bicep contracts and undergoes a concentric muscle action, the tricep on the opposite side of the arm lengthens and relaxes to allow the elbow to bend. Under high stress, such as in climbing, the antagonistic muscle can undergo an eccentric muscle action, lengthening to control movement at the end ranges of motion. So, without further ado, we're going to move into our warm-up. For our workout today, you do need dumbbells. I have dumbbells of 10, 12, and 20 pounds. You can supplement dumbbells with water bottles filled with water and milk jugs filled with water. You also need something to hang off of. If your fingers are strong enough, you can hang, and you're warmed up enough, you can hang off of a door jamb. You can also use a pull-up bar in your house, a tree branch, a monkey bar at a playground after you wipe it off with a Lysol wipe, of course, and get creative, find things you can hang off of for this rock training for climbing video. All right. So let's move into our warm-up. We're going to start with our reaches. Getting full extension from our toes all the way through our fingertips. Starting to feel a nice warm-up here. All right, moving into our back flags. Trying to keep our hips square to the wall as much as possible. All right, and now moving into our small arm circles forward. So you're going to put your arms out to the side, wrists at shoulder height, like so. You're going to do small arm circles forward with palms down. This targets all those tiny firing muscles inside the shoulder girdle that don't get targeted when we're doing big movements and climbing. And backwards, maintaining palms down. Go ahead and turn your palms up, like so, pulling the shoulder blades together, and small arm circles forward. And backwards. Awesome, now let's move into large arm circles. And opposite direction. All right, coming into our small knee circles, feet about hip width apart or together, going one direction. And other way. Now stepping wide around the world, bend those knees. One direction here. and switch directions. And then step back to feet hip width apart, hip circles. And switch directions. All right, now let's press your hands at heart center, take a deep breath in. And when you get to the top, you're gonna exhale and pull elevator doors open and pull the shoulder blades together on the way down. Deep breath in and exhale. Again. And one more. All right, now let's flex the arms up and push the palms down. Flex up, push down, creating tension in our arms when we do this. All right, so the first thing we're going to start with today is dumbbell presses. Unlike other pressing variations in the weightlifting world, dumbbell presses do not isolate just one muscle or joint. They use the full kinetic chain from our feet all the way to our hands when we press up to transmit force, which is why I love them so much. So while pressing is a true antagonistic movement to all the training we do in climbing, it also trains the entire body much like climbing. It keeps the shoulder balanced by training all the muscles around the shoulder girdle, including the rotator cuff. And ultimately, the goal with the shoulder press is to truly strengthen and stabilize muscles around the shoulder while preserving range of motion and balance. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my 10s for this. We are going to do 3 sets of 10s of these. I'm gonna start with my 10s, and maybe I'll move up from there. So I'm gonna get a nice solid stance here. First starting by tucking my hips in, squeezing my belly button to my spine, rolling my shoulder blades onto my back, and coming into this nice stance with the weights, the dumbbells at my shoulders. And I'm going to press up. And at the top, I'm not going to hyperextend my elbows. I'm gonna maintain a nice strong statue position, and then I'm gonna slowly and controlled lower down. There's 1, and again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. Go ahead and lower your dumbbells back down to the ground. So again, you're going to do 3 sets of 10 of that for that exercise. You can go through the full series of these exercises one whole time and then do it a second time and then a third time if you'd like, or you can pause after each exercise example is given and do the other exercises after I do the first set with you. It's your choice. All right, the next thing we're going to do is pull-ups. Pull-ups are amazing because they train our pull muscles, which is what we are doing 99% of the time when we climb. It is important to do pull-ups as well as antagonistic. It's all about balance. So to modify our pull-ups, if you need to, you can grab a chair. I have this step stool here. You can just put it right out in front, and one of the beautiful things about pull-ups is that you can put your feet up on the chair in different positions. So if I wanted to be here, I can put as much or as little pressure through my toes and my feet as I want to help aid myself in my pull-up. Now that pull-up was done a lot with my legs. This one's more with my arms here. When you're doing your pull-ups, it's really important to make sure that you're keeping your elbows in line with your body pointed forward. You do not want to do a pull-up like this, because that reaches for really different muscle groups than what you want to use when you're doing good form in climbing. So with our pull-ups, we're going to do 3 sets of 5. And I'm going to go ahead and do that without my assistance. So I'm going to start in a nice active position, pull all the way up and down. When I'm resting, I want to be in an active rest. I don't want to let my shoulder girdle go. I want to be hanging on my active muscles. All right, you'll notice that I did use some assistance there. It's just nice to have it available if you want it. So for pull-ups, you're gonna do 3 sets of 5. After your first set, if you're gonna do pull-ups again, go ahead and give yourself at least a minute rest there. Okay, moving on, we're gonna go back into an antagonistic muscle. We're gonna train our triceps in a really simple but excellent exercise called dips. So dips are awesome because they strengthen many muscles of the upper arms, shoulders, chest, and back. And of course, the dip motion is similar to that of pressing out of a mantle on the rock. And it also keeps our arms balanced muscularly. So there's 2 different reasons to do dips. I'm gonna go ahead and use my step stool that I just used for my pull-ups. I wanna make sure that when I'm doing dips, my fingers are facing forward when I have them set on the stool. And you don't want them underneath you and closer than your shoulder width. You want them about shoulder width apart. So a couple things here. If you want to make them harder, you can get another chair out in front of you and put your feet up high, or you can just have your feet out in front. You want to make sure your shoulders are rolled onto your back, and you're going to dip down to about a 90-degree angle and up. And we are going to do 3 sets of 10 of these. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Awesome. Okay, moving my chair out of the way. I'm going to adjust my camera because I'm going to come down to the ground now for this next exercise. All right, so now we're going to do finger raises. You see me? I'll adjust that a little more. It's a little too low there. There we go. All right. So finger raises target the extensor muscles on the top of our forearms. They're antagonistic muscles that, when strong, keep our pulley tendons of the forearm strong and decrease the risk of a pulley injury. Pulley injuries are one of the most common climbing injuries outside of shoulder injuries. And what we're doing is going to be holding our fingers in an isometric position, which is where the muscles sustain a fixed position to stabilize movement. We're going to do 3 seconds, 3 sets of 30 seconds on these. All right. And I'm going to sit with my legs out in front like this. The way you want to do this is place your hands flat on the ground. And you're going to lift your fingers up off the ground. I don't know if you can see that, but I can definitely slide my other hand under my fingers here. You want to focus on keeping the pointer finger knuckle, the pinky finger knuckle, and the thumb knuckle pressed into the ground, which will ensure the whole palm of the hand is pressed into the ground. If you need a little bit easier, you can sit cross-legged and put your hands out in front of you like this. This can be really, really challenging. All right. You also want to make sure you try and maintain good posture in this with a straight back. You don't want to curl forward here. You want to try and maintain straight arms. And first set, begin. If you want it more challenging, pull your arms back, sit up taller, and press harder through the ground. All right, relax, shake that out. You can really feel that in here. Okay, so that was our second to last exercise. I'm gonna adjust my camera again, and with those finger raises, you're gonna do 3 sets of 30 seconds. Come back up this way, right here. Grab my step stool. Now we're going to do forearm or wrist curls. I am going to use my 10-pounder for this. You want to be really careful not to use too heavy of a weight. If this is a new exercise for you, or you're a new climber, you probably want to start with like a 2 or a 5 pound. Just so you don't get injured. These do work your big muscles in your forearm. So it's really important to protect those tendons. Our forearms and our wrists can move in all kinds of directions, unlike our legs at the knee joint, for instance, which can only move forward and backward. Our flexor muscles in our forearms flex our wrist toward our forearm, and our extensors muscles extend our muscles back to the straight position. So the 2 biggest muscles in the anterior forearm are the brachioradialis and the flexor carpi radialis. So the flexor carpi radialis comes from the bottom of the pointer finger bone and goes all the way up our forearm to the midline of our elbow. And our brachioradialis is used when we do bicep exercises because it's an elbow flexor muscle. All right, so we're gonna do 3 sets of 10 of these. You're gonna start with the weight down here and your fingers opened up, almost like you're gonna drop the weight, but you're not gonna drop it. And you're gonna fold up and down. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, once you've done that last of the 10, go ahead and set your weight down nice and controlled. All right, so go ahead and do this whole workout. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, yep, 5 different exercises to do. Make sure you're modifying where you need to modify. Use light weights if you need to use lighter weights. If you feel any sort of like weird twinge or pull when you're doing these, make sure that you drop your weight down, or you check your form, or you just don't do it if it hurts. And also with these with these wrist curls, make sure you're doing one on each side. You can do them at the same time. I just prefer to do one arm and then the other arm, but that's your choice. Okay, thank you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to hearing about how this went for everyone. Bye.